Hi guys, it's Babs with Listen to Your Inner You. Thank you for watching and subscribing. My website is listentoyourinneryou.com and you can book sessions on there. I've had so much great feedback from everyone. I've had a lot of people say this was the best session I've ever had and I'm so glad to meet you. It is quite interesting being an online YouTube coach, no matter how big the channel is, right? It's random strangers like you trusting me, and that's really cool. I feel very honored. So thank you for letting me help you. And I'm glad that I can help you guys. Again, take what resonates and what doesn't, just don't worry about it for now, right? And if whatever you're doing works, stick to this. I'm just giving you guys tools for when you get stuck, right? Anyway, today is about focus work. I've had a lot of requests. There's certain things I can say and not. I have certain permissions from Amy since I learned everything I know from Amy. I can only build off of that. And there's certain things I'm not allowed to talk about, and that's okay. I respect that. I'm just grateful that I know what I know. So today about focus work and why. So first of all, how I focus, what gets me results, and why I don't like rattling down affirmations, and why you may not want to do focus work. So first of all, how do I do focus work? Honestly, the most important part about focus work is that you feel it to be real. There's a reason why all these masters say, feel it to be real. You have to feel it. That's why I don't like rattling down affirmations, because A, you get stuck in not resolving resistance, and B, you stay attached. The more you focus, the more you have to detach every time, right? Detaching is not a one-time thing. You have to keep doing it. It keeps happening. So the more you just rattle down those affirmations, that A, the less you feel it, B, you stay attached, and C, again, you don't actually properly turn around those stories that need to be turned around. So I do my focus work, and do it the way you want. I just want you to feel it real. I want you to feel the end. So if you're visualizing, don't just do the visualization, because if you're just observing the scene and it feels nice to watch the scene, it's not enough. Most likely it's not enough. If you're not in alignment with it, it's probably not enough. If you are in alignment with something, then it's so much easier. If you're already getting it pushed out, I can push things out so easily if I'm in alignment with something. I just have to say, I want such and such, and boom, it happens. I can do an affirmation. I can say I want. I can visualize it without having to feel it all the way, right? I can do whatever I want, and it just pushes out like that. But when you're not in alignment with something, you have to do it. You have to do a little more work to get there, right? But once you are, it's so much easier to stay in alignment and keep producing it, keep manifesting it and pushing it out. So what I do is I like to visualize. I'm a huge visualizer, but you don't have to. You want to feel it real. So you want to make sure that you feel however you would feel in the end result. For example, for me, if I'm manifesting an SP, I like the feeling of home, the feeling of comfort, calm, happy, gratefulness, relief. I feel a lot of those. The more you feel, the better, honestly. So feel it real. And I want you to do this with all of your manifestations. Don't just manifest that person. Do lots of other things so you can trust the process that this works, right? So feel it real is the one thing that gets me results every single time. And once I'm in alignment again, then I have to put a lot less effort into it. I can just visualize or say out loud what I want, and then poof, it happens. But when you're not in alignment with something, it's a little bit more work. So yeah, you gotta feel it real. And it feels amazing. You wanna feel those end results and not just watch the scene if you're a visualizer. And don't just rattle down those affirmations if you're an affirmation person. But when you do affirmations, actually feel them. Feel multiple emotions that you already have it. And don't say things like you will get it or you will be okay because you will get it, because A, that's attachment and you can stay attached. So we want to stay away from that, right? And I like to teach that because I learned it from Amy and it helps me a lot. Stay a little bit in the uncertainty that you don't know if this will happen, but it's possible. And I like that so much because it actually calms me down. So I accept that I don't know. I accept that there's uncertainty. You know, sometimes I get clients, they're like, I don't want to accept that I don't know. I want to know. Of course you want to know, but we don't. There's no certainty in life ever. You don't even know if the sun is going to go up, right? So the only certainty in life is that there's change. constant change. So we want to stick a little bit away from that, because uncertainty can actually soothe us too, because the mind only thinks in the right now. There's no future, and future makes us anxious. Future thoughts causes anxiety, So stick away from the will if that's been bugging you, or if you've been feeling anxious, and then stick to more like, I think it could happen, but it doesn't have to, but it's possible, but I don't know if it will. Again, focus work. There's so much to it. Feel it real. Feel the end with as many emotions that you would feel as if you already had it, right? And then I add one affirmation, and that's that I already have it, whatever it is. Like I already am in that committed relationship. I'm already in that serious relationship. I already have a steady income of $10,000 a month. Whatever it is, you want to integrate that. So then feel it, how that would feel, as many emotions as possible, and you want to do that as much as possible. And the reason why you want to focus on the end result is because you take care of fears, attachment, resistance, that just all comes up, and you want to focus more on the end result than anything else, because otherwise you're just concentrating on the problem, and we don't want to go problem solving. I did that for a long time. It didn't get me anywhere. So the reason why you may not want to do focus work is because you may have a lot of resistance. Sometimes certain subjects make me feel like it's a chore to do the getting into the end result feeling. So focus work for me is end result feeling, and sometimes some visualization for that, and sometimes I just feel it without the visualization. But focus work for me is end result feeling, plus visualization a lot, because I'm just a visual person. And they just come to me too. It is what it is. But don't just rattle the affirmations down, because there's so many negatives to it. Affirmations do work. So when I complain or bitch about affirmations, it's the constant affirming all day, every day. That I am against. And I only use that for when I change any belief or habit. Other than that, it doesn't do anything for me other than make me frustrated because I don't see results, or I get spotty results or annoying results, and they come and go. It just doesn't make me feel good because I stay attached. I don't attend to the resistance that comes up. It just doesn't make most of my clients and me feel good. I've done it for a whole year where I just did affirmations. I tried it out. It didn't work. It made me feel miserable. And it also prohibits the whole fact that we need to accept the current circumstances instead of constantly overriding them, right? We need to accept the current circumstances and all of your emotions with it, all of it. Accept everything that is, accept everything that isn't, accept all of your emotions around everything that is and isn't. So there's a lot of acceptance in manifesting work. There's a lot of possibly childhood or life trauma coming up when you do it right. There's a lot of things that will come up when you do it right, including the opposite of what you want. That is, again, the old energy. You get that when you do the manifesting process right. You get the old energy where you probably get the opposite. If you're not in contact with your SP, it could be that you're still not in contact, or if you are somewhat in contact, or you stalk them on Facebook, don't worry, it's okay to stalk them. Then they might block you. If you get some sort of opposite events happening, then you shift it. Congratulations. The first half of your manifestation is done. You went into old energy. Now you just have to keep going into the end result feeling. Make sure you address resistance, keep detaching, right? First half is done. Second half is you have to keep working on it. But you will feel more normal with the 4 steps that I teach. Again, the 4 steps, I mentioned them in the other video recently. The video is called Manifesting Process, or Manifesting Steps, I called it. That's what I use, and that's what I learned from Amy, and it works. It works, and that's what I teach in my sessions, right? So focus work, if you don't want to do it because it feels like a chore, it's probably because you have a bunch of resistance. Go back to the steps 1, 2, 3, 4 and see what comes up. And you have to keep tweaking. You have to keep tweaking it until it gets right. It's like taking layers off of an onion. We're all onions. We just take off these layers until we get it right. And that's the focus work. And why you may not want to do it is usually it's resistance that you're not addressing, or you haven't dug it up or found it, or you haven't found the right turnaround or the right proper word that's coming up. Because resistance can be iffy, and sometimes it kind of hides, and then you do it for 2 weeks, and then the similar thing comes up but a different word, and you're like, oh, I thought I addressed this. But you just have to keep tweaking, right? So focus work, feel it real, feel it real, feel it real. I don't care if you do affirmations or visualizations, but when you do affirmations, don't write them down all day, every day. Just use them like you would do with visualizations, where you do it spot-wise, once or twice a day, maybe a couple of times a day, but not all day, every day. I don't want you to stay in that. It's unsustainable. It will not make you feel good. But affirmations do work when you do them right, which is feeling them real. The more emotions, the better. When you're out of alignment with something, you have to do a little bit more work, more emotions, more feeling it real. When you're in alignment, it's a lot easier to manifest things and push them out like that with just saying, I want, this should show up. I've said the most ridiculous things and they showed up. But I was already in alignment with it. And usually when we're in alignment with something for a little bit before it even pushes out. So there's usually a delay. There's usually not an instant manifestation, but sometimes it feels like an instant manifestation, but we were already in alignment with it. And then we said or did something that then pushed it out in the moment. And we're like, oh my God, instant manifestation. Usually you were already in alignment with it. So again, focus work, feel it real, feel it real, feel it real. The more emotions, the better. Acknowledge that you already have it in your visualization or focus work or affirmation, right? So other than that, focus however you want, but this is how I focus is usually a visualization with feeling it real. And again, the most important part is to feel it real. I usually add thoughts in because thoughts create emotions. So I add as many cool, positive thoughts that create cool, positive emotions to indicate that I already have it. And that's my focus work. And then again, if you don't want to do focus work, do it because you don't want to do it, because that indicates that you probably have enough resistance that needs to be dug up. And hey, I want to be acknowledged. Resistance is usually fears and doubts, limiting stories, beliefs, or emotions that you're bottling up. So it wants to be acknowledged. It's like a little kid tugging on your coat, on mom's coat, and go, mom, 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 mom. And the mom's like, no, not now. I mean, the kid is like, hello, 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 hello. It's just resistance. It just wants to be acknowledged and let out and turn it around. So really, manifesting is pretty easy when you do it right. Again, there's no wrong. It's just my wrong is usually if you don't feel good, then it's just not the right direction. So the opposite of right is wrong. So there's not a wrong or right. It's just how you feel. If you feel good, you're probably doing something right. If you're not feeling good, you're probably not doing something right. Again, you can actually feel really good during the day, but if you're doing, so when I do the steps 1, 2, 3, 4, right? And by right means I just do them. I can actually tell by how I feel in those 4 steps where I am at. But when you don't do the 4 steps and you just feel good and you haven't done enough resistance work or detaching work, you can feel good during the day, but not feel good during the focus work, or you can just overall feel good and not want to focus at all anymore, but nothing is happening for a long time with your manifestation. Then it means you haven't addressed the resistance or haven't properly detached. So manifesting doesn't take that long. Manifesting a person or anything doesn't usually take that long. Sometimes there's a bridge of events, orchestration, right? And it takes a while. I've had manifestation take 1 or 2 years, like with my truck or with my flipping business. But there was a whole different thing. A, I wasn't focusing properly. And B, there were some things on the other person that I was doing my flips with. He was advancing his skills. So that was a whole different story. That was kind of cool to see that he became a much better contractor. So that was interesting to see and watch it happen. So there's a bridge of events, yeah. But NSP, anything else, I can manifest things really quickly, usually a couple of months, yeah. But if it takes you years to manifest something, it is usually because you haven't addressed resistance or detached properly, right? Just enough. We just need to do enough of it. We don't ever have to do all of it. You don't ever have to completely detach or completely get rid of resistance. I don't think that's possible. Anything's possible. But what I'm saying is don't stress about it, right? So relax a little bit. I can have what I want even when I'm attached. I can have what I want even when I'm in resistance. Thank you, Amy. Make those beliefs so that you stop stressing about, oh my God, have I detached enough? Have I done enough resistance work? We don't want to stress. We want to relax the mind so that the manifestation can come in, right? again, do the focus work properly, do the 4 steps, and that's how you gauge where you're at, because the feelings that you have during the day on a normal day basis when you don't do your focus work, they will never ever tell you where you're at in your manifesting process, because you can feel great and barely have any negative thoughts that you notice, but you're not getting any results. So if you're not getting results for a year or two, let's say 6 to 12 months or longer, then you haven't addressed step 3 or 4 properly, or 1 or 2. It could be any of the steps. So book a session with me. I'll help you through it, because I like bouncing these things off of another person too, right? Sometimes it's easier to have the other person take over and see what they push out and stuff. It's really helpful. So that's why I like coaching, because sometimes I don't see it what I'm saying, or I get stuck too. Sometimes it's more obvious when another person pushes it out. So it's okay to get help. I get help all the time. And then do the focus work right, do step 2, step 3, step 4. Again, focus, do you believe it's possible? Release resistance, and detach. Those are the 4 steps. And my video is Manifesting Steps. That's the video where I explain them. And I want you to realize that when you don't want to do focus work, it's probably because you have resistance. So do the steps because you don't want to do it. A lot of manifesting is actually a paradox, because we're just releasing resistance and relaxing the mind a lot. So we often have to do the opposite of what we think looks right, but then feels right, and then you get movement. And I learned all of this from Amy. I have manifested my ex back this way, so it works. I've manifested most of the things I have this way. Again, if I'm in alignment with something, I don't have to put as much effort into it. But when I'm not in alignment with something, then I have to start over and do the 4 steps. And that's okay. And then we get the opposite. And that's good, because that's the old energy. It means I did something right. So just actually one of my longer videos. You're welcome. But it's kind of important. Focus work is pretty important. How we do it and when we do it and what we do. Feeling it real. And then why you don't want to do it. Probably resistance. I hope this helped. Have a great day. Bye.